Hi, I'm Stephanie Wade. I'm an occupational therapist and a certified yoga instructor. Today I'll be guiding you through a standing yoga practice. We'll begin with some flowing along with breath and then move towards some standing postures. Everything will be done with the support of a chair. I just would like for you to find one that's sturdy. You don't have to have it pushed against a wall, but a sturdy chair that's not going to fall over if you give a little push on it, and yoga mat as well would be helpful, but not totally necessary. So let's begin. I'm going to be moving my chair around just so you can see me better, but don't worry about doing that. You can just move around your chair. So begin with one hand on the chair, and we're going to start by finding mountain pose. So this is also called Tadasana. It's the foundation of everything in yoga, and that begins with your feet. So begin by rocking forward and backward on your feet. Notice the sensation, the feeling of weight shifting into your toes and into your heels. Then find a neutral center. So find where your weight is in the center of your feet, you feel balanced. Then lift up your toes, stretch them apart, and place them back down on the ground. Then work your way up mentally. So think about the way your knees feel balanced over your ankles. Your thighs are engaged, you have a little bend in your knees. And then think about your pelvis. So let's explore rocking it forward and backward. And our goal is to find a neutral pelvis, somewhere between this far forward and far backward tilt. So we're going to land a little bit tipped forward. Looking for a neutral pelvis here. You can have your hand on your hip if that helps you feel where it is. From here, we're going to think about lifting up through your low abdomen. So we're toning these muscles in the low belly. So we're lifting up, but then we're letting our rib cage stay grounded, connected to the abdomen. So there's some tone through the belly. You're feeling really supported through the 360 degrees of your core. Then we work our way up to your chest. So I want you to think about spreading the front of your chest, drawing your shoulder blades together, but don't let this rib cage pop out. We're keeping everything connected, all balanced over your feet. Then lengthen your neck, get taller, reach through the crown of your head. So even though we're just standing still, this is mountain pose. It's a long and tall posture. It's very active. You're finding length from the grounding you have through your feet. So we're always thinking root down so that you can rise up. From here, we're going to find some movement. So as you breathe in, reach one arm up over your head. As you breathe out, lower it back down. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, come back to mountain pose. One more time, just like that. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, hand back to your side. Now we're going to add on a little movement. Breathe in, reach up. As you breathe out, bend your knees a little bit, hinge from your hips, fold forward, reach down towards your toes. You can let your head be heavy here. And breathe. So I don't want you to feel any pinching in this position. We're looking for lengthening through the backs of your legs, relaxing through your head. On your next inhale, roll back up, push down through your feet as you lift. Okay, let's try that one more time. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, hinge from your hips, fold forward. Now this time, put your hand on your shin or on your thigh. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. So get your back nice and flat. Tone through your low belly. Reach long. And fold forward again. Breathe in, reach all the way up. And breathe out, hand to your side. One more time, just like that, flowing with your breath. Breathe in, reach up. Breathe out, fold forward. Breathe in, lengthen. Breathe out, fold again. And breathe in, rise all the way up. Breathe out, back to mountain pose. All right, let's try that on the other side. We'll just get that other shoulder warmed up. So find your mountain pose again. You can lift your toes, rock back and forth, do what you need to do to find your center. And let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, hand back to your side. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hand back to your side. Inhale up. And exhale down. We're bending forward this time. Inhale up. Hinge from your hips, bend your knees, reach forward, and let your head be heavy here. Find length through your spine. And your hand that's on the chair is just there for steadying balance. Breathe in, slowly come up. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Hand comes to your thigh or your shin. Lengthen out through your top of your head. Find a flat back here. You're still grounding through your feet. And then fold forward back over your toes. Inhale, rise all the way up. Back to mountain pose. This time we flow with the breath. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, long, flat back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, rise all the way up. And arm comes back down to your side. And find your mountain pose again. We're looking for easy, smooth breath throughout all of these movements. I'm going to move my chair. You can just turn to place two hands on your chair. So fingertips can rest on the chair. We're going to find downward dog as our next posture. So you can walk your feet backwards until you find that same flat back that you had a moment ago. So your fingertips press down on the top of the chair. Your feet are grounded. And lengthen up through your arms. Press down through your fingertips. And at the same time, you're reaching your hips back. So long spine here. Feet root down. And we're breathing. So we're looking for opposite movements. Your fingertips are reaching one way and your hips are reaching back the other way. We're strong through your shoulders. And on your next inhale, look towards your hands. Walk your feet forwards towards your chair. Find mountain pose here. And then inhale your arms up into a cactus shape. Your elbows come out to the side. We're looking for space in your chest here. So spread your chest wide, your hands reach back, your elbows reach back. But don't let your rib cage pop forward. So we're keeping that tone through the belly. If you feel like you have space, you could even do a little back bend. Draw your shoulder blades together. You could let your chin come back just a little. And then bring your hands back down to the chair. We're going to go back and forth between those two movements. So we're stepping back to downward facing dog. Press through your hands. Reach back with your hips. You can keep a little bend in your knees so your hips are free to stretch. And gently look forward, step back forward, up to your chair. Elbows and hands come out to cactus position. Find a little back bend. And breathe here. And bring your hands back to your chair. Step back one more time in downward dog. Notice the position of your shoulder blades here. So your shoulder blades naturally rotate to reach over your head. So some movement there is normal, but I don't want your shoulders to be crunched up into your ears. So we're looking for spaciousness there, for lengthening all the way from the base of your hips out through the tips of your fingers. We're engaged by pushing down through the top of the chair and through the bottoms of your feet. We're engaged through your legs by pushing down into the ground. And look forward, step your feet forward. And one more time to cactus pose. Use the space here that you've created with your arms to find a deeper breath here. So your rib cage is nice and open. And breathe deep. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to move my chair, but you can just turn to have one hand on the chair. Find mountain pose. Breathe. Then we're going to have one foot forward and the other foot will step back. So your toes will be curled under. Step your foot back that's on the same side that your hand is touching the chair, so you feel really steady on that side. You can step back as far as feels safe and comfortable to you. Your hips are going to stay pointing forward. And breathe here. So you can keep your hand on your hip. You could bend more or less, but I want your knee to be tracking towards your second toe. You're still lifting through your abdomen, spreading through your chest. So everything that we did in mountain pose still applies here. We're lengthening through the top of your head. If you feel steady, you can reach one arm up over your head. We're still engaging through your legs. They're strong and pushing into the ground. And bring your hand back to your hip. Step your back foot in just a little, enough so that it can plant down on the ground. So your legs, one's behind the other. Your back toes are turned out just a little. Hand comes to your hip. Get as tall as you can. Feel steady here. Then hinge forward from your hips and reach out through your head. So we're keeping those hips level. They still point forward. This is pyramid pose. If you feel steady, you could reach one hand forward. We're lengthening through your spine, all the way out through the crown of your head. You're still pressing down through your feet and breathing. Hand comes back to your hip. Press down through your feet, maybe even bend your knees a little as you come back up, just to protect your back. Beautiful. And we'll turn to the other side. So opposite hand comes to the chair. Step one foot back. Find as wide of a lunge as is comfortable to you. Your back toes are curled under. And breathe here. Find a steadiness through the strength of your hips. Lift through your low abdomen. The same idea of rooting to rise applies here. So we're rooting down through your feet, lifting up through the crown of your head. Option for hand to stay on your hip or reach up overhead. Keep that steady, smooth breath here. And hand back comes back to your hip. Step your back foot in enough that you can ground both heels. Back toes are turned out just a little. Straighten up those hips so we're looking for them to be level and even. And hinge forward, reaching long through the crown of your head. Find pyramid pose. Option to reach your hand up overhead as well. Your hips may feel like they want to twist out, so make sure we're drawing that front hip back, keeping your hip points both straight forward. Beautiful. And hand back to your hip. Push through your feet, come back up. And step your feet back together. I'll move my chair. Next, we're going to have your hand on the chair, just one side, and your toes will step to point towards the chair. So your toes will turn out, point straight in the same direction as your hand is on the chair. Your opposite foot is stepping out as wide as you feel comfortable. So from here, bend your knee that's pointing towards your chair. In this position, we're keeping hips pretty much open. And you can reach. So we're going to bend your knee that's pointing towards the chair. You can keep hand on the hip or reach your arm out. This is Warrior Two. So we're pressing down through your feet, lengthening out through the top of your head. You can choose how much to bend your knee, but it should be tracking towards your second toe, and your knee shouldn't be bending past your toe. Bring your hand to your hip, come up for just a moment. Give your quads a little rest. Then rebend your front knee. So we're bending the knee towards the chair. Then we're going to hinge from your hips and maybe place your forearm on the back of the chair. And you can keep hand on your hip or reach it up overhead. So we're finding a long line of energy from your back foot all the way out the crown of your head. This is extended side angle. We're still engaging through your abdomen, keeping those rib cages in and down, not letting them pop forward. And place your hand on the back of the chair, straighten your front leg. You can choose, if your arm is getting tired, bring it back down to your hip. We're still hinging from the hips here though, and we're gonna find triangle pose. So now we have straight legs. The toes of one foot are still pointing towards the chair, and choose if you'd like to have a hand support or go back to the forearm. But we're straight legs in triangle pose. Option to bring one arm up overhead. Keep your abdominals engaged. And press down through your feet. And bring your hand to your hip, little bend to your knees, engage through your feet as you lift back up. And step your feet together. We'll come to the other side to find Warrior Two. So, opposite hand on the chair, turn your toes to face the chair. Step as wide as you feel comfortable. Find your steady balance here first. Breathe. Then bend your knee towards the chair. You can adjust your feet if you need to. Feel spaciousness through your pelvis. You're open towards the long edge of your mat. Option to reach your arm out behind you. But turn your head to face the chair for Warrior Two. And breathe here. We're always looking for the balance between effort and ease. So we're working hard in the pose, but I don't want you to work so hard that you lose your breath. So if it becomes too challenging, of course you can stand back up, or ease up a little bit. And let's all bring hands to the hips, straighten that leg. Deep breath here. And rebend the front knee. Hinge from your hips, So you create a long line from your back leg all the way out the crown of your head. And you can place your forearm on the back of the chair if it's available to you. And hand can stay on the hip or reach up overhead for extended side angle. So your legs are strong here. We're looking for a lot of length in your spine. And a smooth, easy breath here. And straighten your front knee. Option to bring your hand down if it's getting tired, but let's all move to hand on the back of the chair rather than forearm. We're keeping those hips open, hinging to the side for triangle pose. Option to bring that arm back up if it's feeling strong. So notice the sensations you're feeling here. If you're feeling any lengthening or stretching, I want you to really emphasize length through your side body. So that means stretching through the top of your head so that you create space through this long edge, both the top and the bottom. And bring your hand back to your hip and through your knees. Come back up. Turn your toes to face forward. Keep your legs nice and wide. Use the chair just for steadying balance. And opposite hand on your hip. Let's bend your knees a little bit. Hinge forward. We're doing a wide-legged forward fold. So decide where you feel comfortable here. You could keep your head long and stay at a halfway fold, or you could let your arm reach down towards the floor. Let your low back release, your head release. If you feel steady, you could bring both hands down, but that's totally unnecessary. You could shake your head yes or no. You could gently sway side to side. You could explore moving your head towards one foot or towards the other foot. And everybody bend your knees. Place your hand on your hip. Lengthen out through the crown of your head. Breathe here. Sometimes you can get dizzy if you come up too quickly from a long forward fold. So I want you to hold here halfway. Press through your feet and come back to standing. You can slowly heel toe your feet back together or just step them in. And breathe here. Next, we're going to explore a standing balance pose. So one hand stays on the back of the chair. We have lots of stages here, so feel free to stay where you feel comfortable. We're still looking for that steady breath. We're looking to maintain safety. But explore shifting your weight from one foot to the other, and then shift it into the foot where your hand is holding onto the chair. And take your opposite foot, lift up onto your toes. So we're kind of a little kickstand here. Just unweighting your opposite foot. Turn your knee out about 45 degrees, so facing towards the corner of your mat. And you can prop your heel against your shin. So come back to your mountain pose with your one leg lifted. So you're still lengthening through the top of your head, engaging your abdominals, pressing through your standing foot. If you feel steady, explore lifting your foot up to your shin. Maybe you're feeling very flexible and want to come higher, all the way up to your upper thigh. But you're welcome to stay at the shin or at the kickstand level. And just explore what it feels like to be on one foot. You could maybe try to hover your hand that's holding onto the chair. And if you're feeling very steady, you could reach your hand, your opposite hand up over your head to find tree pose. It may help to find a steady spot on the wall to gaze at. Something that's not moving can help you keep your balance a little bit more. And breathe here. And you can bring your arm back down to your hip if it's raised, and gently release your foot. And just shift your weight side to side here, let it release. And I'm going to move my chair to the other side. So switch hands. Same thing. We'll just rock forward or side to side to find your balance. Just notice your weight shifting. Ground down through one foot and let the other one slowly start to lift. So you can just gently unweight it, come to tiptoes. Keep a little baby bend in your standing foot so that those muscles stay engaged. And depending on how you feel, we can come with heel to ankle and just kickstand. And at this point, keep your knee turned out about 45 degrees. And then you could maybe explore bringing it up to your shin. Just avoid pushing directly on your kneecap. So either stay low, or if you feel like you have the space to come up high, you're welcome to try that. But find where you're comfortable. Hand can stay on your hip, or it can reach out or overhead. Really engage through the back of your hips here. So if we're kind of bending forward, it's going to be really hard to keep your balance. So keep those glutes engaged, those abdominals toned, and find your steadying balance spot in the room. Your gaze is really important in balancing postures. Keeping a nice steady breath. Maybe explore how it feels to hover the hand or let go of your chair hand. And if your hand is raised, bring it back down to your hip and gently release. You could rock side to side. So let's begin to start winding down. We're going to come back to our breath here. Let your body relax. You just did a lot of hard work. Just stand in mountain pose and breathe. And reach one arm up over your head. And come back down to your side. Exhale. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, bring it back down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, come back down. And you can switch sides. Let's see. Let's inhale, reach up. Exhale, back down. Try and slow your breath here. Deep inhale up. Really spread your rib cage. And exhale, let your arm flow back down. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Deep breath in. And exhale, back down. Let's find some gentle twists here. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, you could bring your hand to your chair or to the outside of your hip. Reach your other arm behind you. Breathe here in your twist. I don't want you to jam or pull yourself too deep. We're just looking for a gentle twist of your shoulders here. And let's inhale your arms up and come to the other side. You're welcome to turn around so your hand could be on your chair. Otherwise, you can place your hand on your hip. Reach the opposite arm behind you. Gentle twist of the upper spine here. Your feet are still really grounded. Your hips are pointing forward. And gently unwind. We'll find a little lateral stretch here. So reach up, side bend. Your hand can be supported on the chair. We're just looking for lengthening through both sides of your body. As you inhale, lengthen out through the top of your head, find more space. And exhale, maybe stretch a little further. And breathe in, gently come back up. And let's find the other side. Inhale, reach that arm up overhead. Exhale, side bend. We're looking for length and space here. So we're grounding through those feet, root down, lengthen through the top of your head, and gently bend a little deeper. Inhale, come back up. And find some gentle neck rolls here to sort of slow yourself down. So your ear comes down towards your shoulder. Let gravity bring it down. Don't pull on it. And tuck your chin. Roll over to the other side. Let your ear come down towards your shoulder. And you can move at your own pace with your breath, rolling side to side. And then you can pause on one side, turn your chin towards your shoulder. Breathe here. And turn your chin away from your shoulder, look up. And gently roll to the other side. Turn your chin towards your shoulder. Breathe here. And gently look up. And roll back to the middle. You can look up just a tiny bit. I don't want you to crank your neck backward. And look down. You can go up and down a few times. And bring your head back to neutral. Find your mountain pose one more time. So center back through your feet. Knees are over your ankles. Neutral pelvis. Broad chest. Long neck. And explore what it feels like maybe to bring both arms up together. If you feel unsteady, please grab back onto your chair. And then you can draw your hands to heart center. Breathe here. And if you feel steady, maybe try to close your eyes. Drop your chin down towards your heart. And you can open your eyes. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.